Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Zach Bowman. It's 9:14 p.m. on January 8th, 2025. Legal disclaimer. The content in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't listen to me. Consult a professional before you do anything with your money. With that being said, let's jump into what today looks like in terms of Bitcoin. The price has dropped a lot, and I'm not worried about it. 93K. However, we look at price in Bitcoin, we can still see that buying Bitcoin is a better move than buying the dollar, crude oil, gold, S&P 500, or a house. We can see that the price of Bitcoin is, this whole chart is red. So with that being said, guys, I want to jump in directly to some significant value. We are going to show you our Bitcoin tracker. So we are going to walk through what I've done in 2025, what I plan on doing the rest of 2025, and we're going to see how this goes. So as we can see, I have bought a total of 0.03122216 Bitcoin, or a cash equivalent of, let's update it to 93.9, or equivalent to 2,900 bucks. Okay, I am 17.45% completed toward my 16.8K goal. I now weigh 248 pounds. And I'm feeling great. Today is day 31, no alcohol. So you guys might be thinking, Zach, 50 bucks a day, I can't do it. Do 10 bucks a day. Do 5 bucks a day. I guarantee you, if you stop drinking alcohol and stop spending your money on stupid shit, yeah, I'm looking right at you watching this video. Stop buying stupid stuff. I'm guilty of it, but today I was good. The past few days I've been good. And yeah, I'm really trying to accomplish my goals. And yeah, day 31, no alcohol. I have completed a month goal. Month 1 down. So I'm going to continue with that goal. I'm going to continue to add my second goal of going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm going to figure out my month 3 goal. So we can see, and here, let me, alrighty. So I am giving you guys some serious value with this, because I'm going to go through, I'm going to go through this chart. I'm going to go through this Excel file, and I'm going to talk about why I think Bitcoin is important to your portfolio. I think it's important long term, and I hope I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to this stuff. And in 10 years, everyone else is starting to buy some, because I wish it was 10 years ago today, and I was accumulating as many as I could back when it was a lot more affordable. But the thing is, guys, you don't need a ton of it. We've done the Bitcoin calculator. What we see, if I'm 31 and Bitcoin grows, and I put 16.8K a year into it, and the price of Bitcoin grows 13%, I will be able to retire at the age of 47. Not financial advice. Thing is, I don't plan on retiring. I just want my money to work for me. I want my savings account to grow. It's not growing in my bank right now, and I don't think yours is either. So I challenge the status quo. I try to find assets that will rise in price and see what I can do with them in terms of investing. So back to some fun. When we look at Bitcoin, we can see that the dollar, $1 equals 983 Satoshis. And that's an important number. we are going to reference this in the next few minutes. Just keep in mind 983. When we look at the median house calculator, we can see that Bitcoin allows you to buy a house. And if you're a MicroStrategy, you could buy a lot of houses. So when we look at this calculator, we can see that MicroStrategy has a total of $45 billion worth of Bitcoin. The current Bitcoin price is $98,000, and the current price is 93 today. But just for this video, we're just going to reference the price on 1/6/25. So the total Bitcoin supply is 21 million. 21 million Bitcoin. 21 million Bitcoin. And what we can see is the Bitcoin ownership breakdown. We got governments like Germany who sold a ton and could have made $2.2 billion if they just held their Bitcoin. They had 50,000 of them. We have businesses like MicroStrategy who owns 1%. We have others. We have Satoshi, the OG who made it. We have funds and ETPs like BlackRock and Fidelity. We have inactive. So that's all the Bitcoin that's locked up, that's lost, that's just out there, that's never going to be used because it's not being currently you don't have the password to it. And then there's the individuals. That's the people like me and you. That's the average American, the average person living in Africa, the average person living in China, just the regular person living in Sweden or Germany or Argentina or Colombia or whoever. It doesn't matter. Individuals like me and you own over 50% of the Bitcoin. We own over 50% of the Bitcoin. These businesses and ETFs and funds and BlackRock and MicroStrategy, they're buying huge amounts of Bitcoin, but it's just a drop in the bucket when we look at the total market cap. When we look at the numbers, we can see when we highlight this, the total sum is 1.9 trillion. 1.9 trillion. The current market cap of Bitcoin, current $1.96 trillion. So we're right on. My numbers are spot on. I have calculated, based on the Bitcoin ownership, what some of these entities own. And it is awesome. So I don't even need to include these guys. Yeah, there's other funds out there. I apologize. Okay, so I'm missing $100 million or 100 billion. My apologies. But regardless, I'm still pretty spot on. So yeah, it's wild. When we look at how much MicroStrategy has invested into Bitcoin, we have $45 billion. They have okay, I need to update this chart. Ignore this. I don't have 457,000 Bitcoin. It's a typo. Okay, so MicroStrategy has over 450,000 Bitcoin. If we look at that, 457,000 divided by C6, which is 21 million, they own 2.18%. Zach, I want you to check your math. Cool. Let's look at this. Oops. When we look at the treasuries, we can see that MicroStrategy owns 2.1%. 2.1%. My math makes sense. My math is correct. Excel is correct, not financial advice. MicroStrategy, they own 2.131%. So my math is just a little off because the total price of Bitcoin is not $98,000 anymore. It's $93,000. Okay. So their overall monthly investment, if you look at it, is $3.75 billion a month, or $123 million a day. When we look at Fidelity, they own $20.9 billion worth of Bitcoin. That is a total Bitcoin amount of over $200,000, just like my other video. When we look at Fidelity, they own 202,000 Bitcoin. When we look at Fidelity, they own 7,000. So they have, oops. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but if we look at they almost own 1%. So let's look at my calculator. They own 1%. My math is right. Let's look at BlackRock. So they have $53 billion of Bitcoin. At $98,000, divide that by 21 million Bitcoin, they have over 500,000 Bitcoin, which is exactly what I said in the description of my other video. When we look at that as a percentage, we get 2.56%. Let's look at theirs. What's listed online? They have 2.62%. So I'm a little low. But I'm right. I'm pretty much spot on. Their monthly investment is $4.4 billion if we look at this in a year period, or their daily investment is $145 million. So again, this is not financial advice. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But why is there, okay. Why do three companies have $118 billion worth of Bitcoin? Why do three companies have $118 billion worth of Bitcoin? Why? ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT. Why would three companies, MicroStrategy, Fidelity, and BlackRock, own 118 billion worth of Bitcoin today? All right, so this is what ChatGPT is saying, and nothing ChatGPT says is right, but honestly, why would three companies hold $118 billion worth of Bitcoin? Hedge against inflation, early mover advantage. We got client demand. We got belief in the long-term value of it. We have public perception is increasing and the credibility is, improving. And we might have some regulatory clarity in the future. So it's something to diversify your asset in. All right. So, with that being said, my math holds true. We got 2% for MicroStrategy. We got 1% for Fidelity. We got 2.56 for BlackRock. Now we're going to talk about my stack. So, when we look at the calculator, I don't know, I might have a little bit more than this, like I think a couple like digits, but I mean it's pretty much around this $3,000 total. So as of today, and let's make this green because that's my favorite color. All right, so as of today, I have 0.03122216 Bitcoin. And this is how I stack up. This is how I stack up. So I'm looking at a monthly investment of okay, I'm looking at a monthly investment of $50 a day. So we got 16,800 total investment, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to use 2,900. $2,970, because that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so when we look at how much I own as a percentage of the total 21 million coins, I own 0.00000014. And let me make sure that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so we got the Satoshi digits. All right, so I own 0.60s, 14%. You might say that's nothing, but I question and challenge the status quo. What is that what does that nothing turn to in 100 years? Not financial advice. When we look at the overall Bitcoin ownership breakdown, we can see, and I'm going to break this down, guys, for you. Individuals, 11.97 million coins. Inactive, 3.7 million. To be mined, there's only 1.3 million to be mined. So, when we look at individuals, the total investment of individuals today is $1.2 trillion. Individuals that hold Bitcoin, that believe in it, that love it, that think it's the future, not financial advice, hold $1.2 trillion worth of Bitcoin. When we look at that in Bitcoin, that's 12.3 million Bitcoin, or 11.97 Bitcoin million. So my numbers are just a smidge off because the price of Bitcoin is down today. But overall, when I looked at this the other day, it was spot on. When we look at this as a percentage, we got 58%. We got 56% right there. Numbers are pretty spot on. What we're seeing individuals every day buy is $100 billion every month. $100 billion every month. MicroStrategy is buying $3.7 billion every month. Fidelity is buying $1.7 billion every month. BlackRock is buying $4.4 billion every month. I'm buying $250 a month. Individuals, so people like me and you, are buying $100 billion a day of this stuff. So when we look at what's lost, unfortunately, there's a lot of lost Bitcoin. We have over $373 billion worth of lost Bitcoin, or about 3.8 million coins, which is pretty much spot on with this chart right here. 3.8 million lost coins, and that's about 18.1% or 17.6%. Guys, I'm within 1 to 2% off with my numbers. The monthly investment of lost Bitcoin, if people were buying today, would be 31 billion. That is almost as much. I mean, it's more than, it's almost 3 times the investment amount of BlackRock, Fidelity, and MicroStrategy. So there's a lot of lost Bitcoin out there. Don't lose your Bitcoin. Don't sell it. The price is going up. Not financial advice. You need to learn how to hold your keys and manage your money. You essentially become your own treasury with Bitcoin. When we look at governments, we can see that the government has a total of $50 billion worth of Bitcoin, or over 500,000 coins. And this isn't Zach and Bitcoin. This is government and Bitcoin. I just need to update this. I don't have this much Bitcoin. I wish I did. I'd be a bank. So we can see that the governments own 2.44%. And if we compare it, governments own 2.4%. I'm within 0.04% right, according to my math, according to the Excel calculator. Governments are buying $4.2 billion a month of this asset, or $138 million a day. When we talk about the price fluctuating, they're lying to you guys. I think, not financial advice, I honestly think they're trying to screw with you to make you to get more before everyone else can figure it out. But what do I know? When we look at Satoshi, the guy that made and founded Bitcoin, he is worth over $100 billion today. He has over 1 million coins. If we look at the breakdown, Satoshi has 1 million coins, or 4.89%. 4.80%. I'm off 0.09%. When we look at funds and ETFs, we have a total investment of $111 billion, or a total of 1.13 million coins. Let's look at the funds. We got 1.1 million coins, or 5.2%. 5.38%. I'm off 0.18%. So the monthly investment is $9.2 billion every month. If we look at the top 3 dogs, 9.9 billion a month. So I'm a little off with this one. So I'm not too concerned, but overall, you guys can see that the maths, and it's really interesting to see where you stack up. I think it's interesting to see, and I think I said that twice, but I don't really care. Individuals own Bitcoin, guys. So when these other institutions are talking about the Bitcoin price fluctuating, they don't know shit. Individuals have the power. Let's look at some other charts. So this is where I'm going to try to tie together the 983 Satoshis. If you invest an initial investment of $36.50 compared to Fidelity's investments of $370 million yesterday, or over the past couple of days, you would need $10. You would need to buy $10 worth every day to have the equivalent of that of a SAT today. So I think what I'm trying to say, and this is kind of complicated, but if you divide my Bitcoin divided by how much Fidelity bought, in terms of if I bought $3,600 up front and they bought 3,600 Bitcoin, the decimal of that would be 0.0000986, which is the equivalent of 1 Satoshi, or $1. So if we look at priced in Bitcoin landing, we can see that the price of $1 is effectively the same, 0.0000. This should be 0.9, but it's gone up because the price of Bitcoin has gone down a little bit. So it kind of blew my mind a little bit. So essentially, if you buy $10 worth of Bitcoin a day, that's like the same as buying $1 worth of what Fidelity bought in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of how many Satoshis you get. If we look at BlackRock, their daily buy over the past couple of days was $208 million. If you invest $2,000 up front, that gives you 0.02 Bitcoin. BlackRock bought 2,000 worth. If you divide the two numbers, you get 0.0000982, or effectively what I got when the price of Bitcoin was 101. So I don't know if I'm figuring out something interesting or just making the math add up to the decimal point. But overall, if you invest $5.62, that's the same as having an equivalent of $1 of what BlackRock bought in terms of Bitcoin. Lastly, we'll look at daily investment needed to buy $1 in terms of sats today based on MicroStrategy. That will be an upfront investment of $990, or a daily investment of $2.71. And when you divide the Bitcoin that you would buy from $900 versus the amount of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy acquired earlier this week on January 6th, you can see that this equals 0.0000980, or the equivalent of 1 Satoshi, or $1 in terms of the Bitcoin. So 983 Satoshis is equal to $1. So I thought that was just kind of interesting. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And yeah, I really think it's important to think outside the box, think outside the status quo, and challenge, the initial thought process of some stuff. Because when we look at the math, guys, there's a serious amount of money that's in Bitcoin. And it is, when we look at, 1.9 trillion, and then we go to global assets, market cap, heat map. It's not what I want. I want to see, I don't know where it is, but regardless, guys, crypto is early, not financial advice. What happens if this turns into a $10 trillion asset? What happens if it turns into a $100 trillion asset? What happens if it turns into a multiple $100 trillion asset like real estate? So I think it's interesting to see how things get digitized in the present and in the future. And if something's going to happen, I am not going to miss out. So with that being said, guys, I hope today was the most informative video that I've made for you guys. I really put a lot of thought into it. I've spent a lot of late nights just thinking, and I'm trying to provide you a lot of value. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in several years when, if any of this comes true, or if the price goes up, or if it goes down. Who knows? I don't really know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. The price could go down, the price could go up, the price could stay the same. But one thing I do know is the price of the dollar is going down. So I'll leave you with that, and I hope you have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.